Good morning. Well, at least morning for me. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe. Got the GX 470 for, I guess, part 2 of the DIY air injection bypass video. So stay tuned. I call it part 2 as, I guess, more of an update, a question answer, a revisit, just because this video got so many more comments and questions and stuff than I anticipated. Not necessarily below in the comment section on the video, but over on Facebook where I posted on the GX page. So I figured I would just address some of those comments and questions because it has been, I had to check, it's been about 4,000 miles on this since I've done the bypass, which is not a ton, I suppose, or that long term. It's been a few months. We just have taken several road trips with it. So that is one of the comments that I got a lot, like a week after the video. How is this still doing? I was like, well, it's been a week, so it's doing good. But I guess people assumed I had done it a lot longer before the video actually aired. But so far, so good. Like I said, about 4,000 miles. We've been to Michigan, we've been to Ohio twice, back and forth, a lot of in-town and out-of-town driving, and it has been literally flawless. Apparently that aftermarket bypass kit was much more faulty than I ever thought. Again, on the Facebook page, so many people commented, I have that same kit, I'm having these same problems. I had no idea that this was probably looking like it was the problem, because no one ever kind of thinks, like, we put that bypass on it as a fix. No one expects it to fail that drastically and that quickly. And the biggest thing was the stalling while driving, which a lot of people were having that issue with the aftermarket bypass. And again, if you don't have the bypass and your injection pump is failing and giving you all those check engine lights, it won't die just like that in traffic. It will put you into limp mode until you clear the codes and, you know, get yourself a little bit further or whatever, which is not inherently that dangerous. But with that bypass going bad like that and then just dying in traffic, yeah, not cool, not good. So I want to pop the hood and show you guys a couple things, again, that were kind of the top question comments regarding the DIY bypass. All right, if you haven't seen the first video, strongly suggest you go see that. I'll drop a link down below. But we are in, this is the fuse box underneath the hood on the driver's side. That's where kind of most of the business happens. Trying to get some lighting here for you guys. You can see my relay right there. That's kind of the heart of this. And then if I can move it around, I know this is still kind of sloppy. I addressed that in the first video, but there's kind of a rhyme and a reason to this. So anyway, if I can move it around a little bit so that you guys can see, there's a little resistor in there. Barely see it. In the first video, I said that based on the instructions that I had from the internet, you had to make sure that that resistor went a certain direction from one pin to another. Now, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If you put like a voltage meter or an ohm meter on one of those, which is what I did to make sure it was the right one, it's the same whether you put the negative or positive on either end to test the resistor itself, which would lead one to believe that it doesn't matter which way it goes. And I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but it seemed based on the comments that in fact it doesn't matter. It's a resistor, not a diode. A diode does matter. It is directional, a resistor is not. So I'm going to go ahead and say, based on my experience of testing that, and also based on what my experience with resistors and the comments, that does not matter which direction it goes. And I can't get this. This was another kind of big question mark, I guess, if you will, on the video. You can't see it. I can't get it on film, but towards the back of the engine on both sides, there's some tubes that come up out of the exhaust. Those are the EGR tubes that feeds the exhaust gases back into the whole air injection system, and those should be, quote unquote, should be blocked off with block-off plates. If you buy kit online, like an injection bypass kit, the thing that is failing in all of these, they come with the bypass plates, and they should be installed. Again, there was a general consensus on where they are. They're not that hard to install. It's just 2 bolts that you need to loosen up, slide these little plates in, tighten everything back up. That you can buy them online. There's actually several places that you can buy Toyota EGR block-off plates online. I'm not going to link any of those places because I've not bought or installed any of them myself. First video, when I bought this car, it already had that entire kit installed along with the EGR plates, so I did not have to do that. I'm going to go ahead and say at this point, you should do that. I don't know that it is 100% absolutely necessary that you do that. The fact that you're not using that bypass system anymore, do you really want to be pumping EGR gases into a system that's not functioning? I don't know that it's a strong yes or a no either way, but they're not. I know they're not expensive, and supposedly they're not that hard to install. So if you're going to go to all the work to do the bypass, maybe you should do the plates as well. All right, another thing that was kind of a up in the air question mark, if you will, is what wire to tap into on your mass airflow sensor. So we're on top of the air box over here. The directions, dead bug, the directions that I got were for a Tundra, first gen Tundra, and it was based on what color the wire was. Tap into this color of wire. Well, in mine, I did not have that color, so I was able to kind of go based on the pictures and figure out which wire it was on the harness, cross my fingers and hope that it was the same pinning in the harness, which I assumed. It's not uncommon for the same harnesses in a vehicle on a different year to have different colored wires. I assume that's just because of availability of wiring, but then they have to go back and change all of their like dealership manuals. I don't know, but make sure that you are getting the correct wire. And again, on this one, I got to remind myself which one it was. It was the second wire in. So these are all laid flat. This is the passenger side. It was the second wire in. This is a 07 GX 470, and it is a black wire with it's like a reddish brown. It's old and dirty, so it's kind of hard to tell. I think it is a red stripe, so black with red stripe. I can tell you that after I've made this video and posted and stuff, more and more same or similar mod videos have been showing it up in my algorithms. So as uncommon as this mod may seem, doing it on your own, it is out there. Why it doesn't show up when you start searching for air bypass on a 4.7 Toyota, and it just isn't I don't know. But if you are concerned about which wire to hack into there on your mass airflow sensor based on the year of your vehicle, because this is the same as any 4.7 Lexus, so that'd be what, GX 470, LX 470, the 200 series Land Cruiser, 4th gen V8 4Runner, 1st gen Sequoia, 1st gen Tundra. It's all 99.9% the same. So if you're unsure about which wire, maybe make sure that you are, post something somewhere and do some searching. You can probably find somebody that has the same vehicle in the same year that should give you some peace of mind on which wire to hack into. And I can't say, if it was me, I would just do it and be like, oh, that didn't work, I'll pick a different wire. I can't say without certainty that that won't drastically harm your ECU or something, so maybe don't do that. I like to roll the dice sometimes, but yeah, that's a kind of another unknown, but I feel fairly confident that it's the second wire in on all of them. One last thing, it's kind of a generic thing, but make sure you are connecting your wires properly. Check, double check, triple check. Use my video, use somebody else's video. I did link the instructions, which were massively overly complicated, in the Tundra forum. I linked that in the first video, and I addressed some of those topics. So again, if you're gonna do that, do this to yours. Watch that first video, maybe watch it a couple times. Somebody had commented, I think it was on the Facebook group, I can't remember now. Hey, I did this and it's not working, and they posted a picture. They had wired it wrong. They had wired, and it was the same setup. They just, I don't know, got ahead of themselves or whatever, but they had wired into the wrong relay. So of course it's not gonna work properly. Just make sure that you have all of your connections. Draw your own wiring diagram maybe first with the colors of wires that you're going to use, and make sure it all lines up with the instructions before you go whole hog into it. And one last thing, kind of a side effect that I had not expected, but I suppose in hindsight kind of makes sense. For effect, that is my average MPG. Now, of course, you can take it with a grain of salt because it's all based on the ECU, and of course, like, I have bigger tires, so it's not computing the exact, but whatever, it still is a number of measuring some mileage. We've had this GX now for almost 5 years, and I've been running on 33s almost the entire time. And for, I don't know, 95% out of the year, when we're doing the same driving, a trip here and there, I never reset this. Usually in the summertime, it's about 14.3, 14.4 if we're lucky. In the wintertime, of course, it dips down. But for like the last year, it's been about the 14.2, 14.3. Now, we did this, I did this bypass, and then we took, a bunch of road trips, and it just kept going up and up and up. Now, of course, on the highway, you're going to get better fuel economy, obviously, but I was also running like 80 miles an hour with a roof box, so it's not like I was getting that good of mileage, but this was up to 15.2, and we took our last trip a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, so I've been just in town driving all the time, and just this last week it dipped down to 15.1. So that means over the last 4,000 miles in town, out of town driving, I've gained almost one full MPG by replacing that failed bypass with the DIY one. Now again, like I said, you can take the figures off that ECU calculation with a grain of salt, but it is still calculating something. So clearly it has gone up. And of course it's going to continue to drop now that we're in winter, and it's always going to fluctuate based on how much in town and out of town. I feel like I have a pretty good average because we live in a small town that is either 20 minutes to anything that we actually want to go to, whether by highway or by back road. So this is getting a fairly decent mix of highway, in town, 55 mile an hour, 45 mile an hour back road, to kind of average what it's actually doing. So, you know, I guess I didn't realize quite how badly that failing bypass was messing with the MAF, which again was messing with my fuel economy, and the fact that, like, even when that MAF or that sensor wasn't being affected, when the bypass was good, I still wasn't getting anywhere near that amount of MPG. So I don't know. I guess the next 6 months to a year will be very informative about how this performs. If you have any comments or questions, and I'm sure there will be, post them down below. Let the community answer if I don't have an answer for it. And if you're new to the channel, this is a lot of the stuff that we do. Toyota Lexus off-road based stuff. I know I don't do a lot of off-roading. We live in Iowa, I just don't have the opportunity to do it, but this is where my passion for vehicles is tastefully modified 4x4 family SUVs. So that's what the content is gonna be. There's a lot of mountain bike stuff too, because obviously I like that. I have a bunch of videos already made. I'm working on editing them. They will be coming out. GX, 4Runner, mountain bike stuff, all sprinkled together over the next several weeks. So stay tuned for that. Email me if you would like, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com. Again, the video for the first installment of the DIY bypass, that's linked down below and probably somewhere here at the end of the video. There was a lot of good info, people commenting on that, so don't just watch that video, scroll the comments. And of course, follow the links down below over to my Instagram, where I post just video stuff and other randomness from day-to-day life. So give the video a thumbs up if you would. I would greatly appreciate that. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. So until the next video drops, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care. Goodbye.